All right, ladies and gentlemen, lobby is full, and here we are for game two of Influx versus Ready Aim Oops. This is going to be the last game of the night. This is a modified Swiss scoring style game where there are just two games. Each game is worth 1 point, and if you take both games, you get an extra point for taking the match. So just so everyone
knows. It sounds a
knows.
lot like soccer generic. Are you sure we're not playing by European rules?
Well, I mean, it's a modified Swiss scoring style.
Fair enough. Because generic, I will say one thing that I learned over break, and that is that space heaters, while wonderful for keeping cold basements warm, they're also excellent for keeping your pizza cold during a long game of League of Legends. Don't worry, we'll find a sponsor for G3 coming up as soon as we can. And we're on to the next game, and we'll see if both teams are ready, which it looks like they are. We're going to get going. Streamers are, we let them know that they are ready.
Yep.
And here we go with the first picks and bans.
So, do you think we're going to see anything targeted from either team against what they just fought?
It's gotta be Nidalee. Like, when a guy gets that hot with any one champion and affects the game that much, I say you have to counter pick him. But right now it looks like they're not doing it, at least at the moment. So we'll see what they do going forward. Definitely taking on the Gragas. The Tristana, the first one, going to be a counter pick against RAO.
Yeah, and apparently they are respectful of RAO's Tristana, even though it went late game, and they were still able to handle her pretty well once Pantheon just started interfering with the back line and coming in from the side. He seemed to do a pretty good job. Also, a Caitlyn ban, so we are seeing a lot of targeted bans. We're going to have to see an all-new bot lane lineup, and I wonder if they're hoping that the other AD carries don't have enough champion depth to really be as skilled on
different. Oh, it was interesting. I also looked up at what level Tristana starts to outrange Caitlyn, and it's level 13.
Yeah,
so
it's
very interesting that even though she was lower in range that entire time, she was still able to come out, by all other means on top. Although we did see problems once we got to team fights of her positioning, which might have been a one of the elements of her having a shorter range. Felt that she needed to be closer into that fight while Caitlyn is on the outside. And once again, we have RAO taking out both of the other very, very strong mid lane champions with a ton of AoE with Ziggs and Gragas. Definitely trying to help out Elemental Politic as he goes to pick out his mid lane.
Well,
no, it was Antarctica. Sorry, my bad.
And we saw the Trundle banned away again, once again by Influx. It has to be targeted at the top laner for Ready Aim Oops. Wow, I don't know why I can't remember that name. So we're going to see a Jaina and a Wukong picked up. Jaina's not locked in yet, but that seems counterintuitive because if Wukong goes and then Jaina, by some mistake, thinks he's in trouble and ults, you're going to see a wasted ult on both sides. So I don't really know about the Jaina-Wukong combo.
Right. Although she was able to do a really solid disengage, so it might just be an anti-Vi pick. Vi is really one of the ones that jumps in on people. Obviously, I don't think it would stop her ult, would it? But it would stop her from sticking in on champions.
There is a small window while she's going up but hasn't initiated the dunk. I believe that she can be knocked out of it. It's weird. It has some weird vulnerability windows. So we're seeing a Jinx picked up by blue team. Once again, going for a very late game AD carry. I don't know about... and again, the Syndra, they felt that worked well for him. Seeing a Sivir come out of the red team this time, Influx. Yeah. Looks like they might be going for a high mobility comp. Just trying to move around the map at great rates of speed and push multiple objectives whenever possible.
And they gave Starbucks his Reddington. That's one of the things they became famous. He's really become famous for, or quite known for, at least if not famous for, around G3. Is this solid Reddington play. We'll see what they're going to try to counterpick against him for RAO. But yeah, definitely. There's a lot of high mobility champs on there. You have the dive in with the Wukong, but combine Janice, the speed that Jana is able to get, along with her CC, as well as Sivir's ability to speed them all up. There's going to be a lot of either solid engage jumping in or solid disengage if the fight ends up going sour for them.
Well, the Renekton pick to me is very interesting, especially with the Jinx being on the other team, because Renekton, he's a late game bully, and Jinx gets huge right around the time that Renekton kind of starts to plateau out. So this is a game that they're going to be looking to end by 30, maybe 35 minutes. Shyvana being hovered over and picked up, which is actually a great choice with the Trundle Band out and the Renekton already picked. Now, Renekton is one of the few champions that can go even with Shyvana in lane, but that's a pretty huge statement, given how much better Shyvana's late game is than Renekton's. What I've been seeing a lot of Renektons do in order to counter the Shyvana is they pick up a Hydra and they become a split push threat, so that Shyvana is always required to answer them.
All right, we see a couple of champions being batted around for Influx going out for mid lane. If they do settle on LeBlanc, it would be a very strong delete champ. Right now, you have Orianna, which is another champ who's able to speed people up and get some more mobility.
An absolutely great fit into that mobility comp, especially if she puts the ball on. I'm sorry?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Especially if she puts the ball onto Renekton and lets him and uses her W to allow him to dive in. The ultimate combo from Orianna into Wukong is just absolutely brutal, especially if you can get a Jaina Tornado to follow that up. You've got 3 knockups on the enemy team, which is going to allow for Renekton to stand in the middle of them with his ulti ticking and doing lots and lots of damage for free.
And of course, the bouncing blades and the boomerang blade for Sivir. So with all that we were talking about with Influx, let's go back over to RAO and see what they're going to have to do to combat that. I think they have a very similar comp to last time. They really have a very strong pick comp. I think what they're going to try to do is they try to get Vi, obviously Vi and Shyvana. They both have jumping mechanics to dive in on people, get where they need to be, and pick someone out, whether it be through Syndra or whether it be through a soft CC going in from Jinx. But I really think they're going to be looking to jump past, maybe get around that, big wombo combo in the middle, jump past him and get into that back line to take out Sivir and Orianna, of course.
Yeah, and this is a very similar pick to or composition to what they had last time. They're going to be looking for that high priority champion. They're going to be looking for Wukong if he doesn't build very tanky. They're going to be looking for Orianna, and they're going to just want to grab that person with the ultimate from Vi and follow it up with the ultimate from Syndra, and they're just going to lock them down and then blow them up so that they don't have to have that team fight that Influx very obviously wants. This Influx's team wants to fight constantly. They want to push an early end to the lanes, and they don't care whether they're winning or losing the lanes, and they want to group up 5-man in mid, and they just want to rumble.
Right, definitely. And so we're going to see what they're going to be going in for. What do you think has the advantage going in on the Team 1 fight? I mean, I personally think that Influx has a little bit stronger. They have the Boomerang Blade, which can do a bunch of damage to a bunch of different champions if it goes through them. And have the probably Tornado if they're looking to fight.
Yeah, I think
with the Jaina.
I think if we see a level 1, Influx wins it hands down. There's nothing really powerful from a level 1 ready aim oops here. There's no CC coming out from Syndra at level 1. Jinx's damage is good, but not absolutely great at level 1. And really, Shyvana doesn't even do a whole lot at level 1, unfortunately. And the only way Vi's going to do anything at level 1 is if she takes Vault Breaker, and that kind of hurts her jungle speed. So I'm going to have to give the level 1 over to Influx, hands down. That Renekton can take the stun without a problem. The Q from Orianna, the command attack, can scout out the fights really well. Boomerang Blade, like you said, does just absolutely loads of damage at low levels. And Wukong can actually, will actually probably start with his E, Nimbus Strike, I believe is what it's called. And that'll give him a huge attack speed buff, as well as do noticeable damage to 3 champions on the enemy team.
Right, definitely. There's outside of like you said, without the Vault Breaker on Vi, really the only AOE you're gonna be able to have on multiple champions to really turn that fight around is maybe Shyvana. If she doesn't go, I suppose she would go Twin Bite first if she were to go on top to get that more attack damage 1v1. But if she doesn't go Burnout, and then really it's just Syndra, and maybe Karma who's going to do any of the AOE in the team fight.
All right, so we're going to have another quick break while we get it here into the load screen. So we'll be back here in just a couple minutes. Once everybody's loaded in, we're ready to go. And it's been years since you passed away, but I see no place.
All right, and we are in for the game, and it looks like just coming out of the base, we have now Influx going to be pinging in on the jungle, and they're probably doing the same thing they did last time with their defense. Very similar to RAO. Nothing really special. Going to be moving in to defend Vi and her blue. That really is important for Vi to get blue first, is it not?
Yeah, it's absolutely essential for Vi to get blue. Her abilities cost a lot of mana, relatively speaking, for her pool, and she can't really clear well without using them, especially in the early game. Now, I'm actually really kind of surprised that we're not seeing an invade coming from Influx here, considering how much stronger like currently.
Immense power is fun.
But it looks like everybody just kind of wants to stay away from each other and just watch. One of the things I'm seeing that's unusual in the current meta of the game is we're not seeing a Doran shield out of any of the bot laners. We're actually seeing a sweeping lens out of Jaina rather than the trinket. So we're only going to have one full-length ward and one 1-minute ward for them to start out with. So I think they're expecting to not receive a whole lot of early pressure.
Right. That would be. I mean, there's definitely a lot of damage once you get a combo with Karma and Jinx. But it's really the same thing they were trying to get with the Morgana and the Tristana. Is if they don't get their combos, then they're really not going to do much of an engage. And so we'll see if the mechanics of Dignity is able to turn out that same CS advantage that he was able to enjoy while he was on Tristana.
It looks like Wukong's getting out of the blue buff a little bit earlier than Vi. Not much, but it might be enough to affect who gets the first gank and how successful it is.
Right. Well, you definitely had a bit of advantage with the amount of damage that Sivir was able to put down onto the blue buff for Wukong that was just not there for Renekton, or for sorry, Shyvana.
Well, we're speaking of damage for Renekton. We're seeing Renekton put a lot of damage down on Shyvana. He actually hit level 2 first and used that really well to his advantage. Put a lot of damage down on her while she was in the middle of his creep wave.
Well, we've all been saying so far, Renekton really is Starbucks' favorite champion, and there seems to be a good reason for it. Same token, on bottom, it looks like Jinx is able to get some Jinx and Karma able to put some damage. Now Karma does have a high percentage of her mana gone, so she must have burned a lot of it when trying to push out the bot lane for Influx. But with that spell shield that was able to get picked off on the W by Jinx, she was able to get out there with more mana for Sivir.
Well, and I think it's interesting to watch Starbucks playing this top lane matchup. He's doing a really good job. We saw him fighting Shyvana when she had her W up a lot, but not while she had her E on him. Now we're seeing anytime she puts up her W and gets her E onto him, her, what is that, Flame Breath, he just leaves. He disengages and just decides he's not going to play there. It looks like we got a gank in top lane, and nothing comes out of it.
Right, great job by Starbucks able to move out there, almost use that sixth sense to his advantage. At the same token, looking over in mid, we have about a even in terms of advantage, more mana going down for the Orianna, but a little more health for the Syndra. Probably a little more potent, able to be knocked down with those early levels from Syndra. Obviously, she had to burn the mana to do it, but she was okay with that. And once again, like we said, Starbucks putting some major hurt down. 8 up, 10 CS again, getting that early
Another
start.
gank in mid.
And there goes that gank, and puts Syndra down really, really low, and does not allow her to stay in lane much longer.
We're seeing a lot of really good spell shields coming out from the Sivir, but even so, that is a two-part spell that she just shielded there. So she took a little bit of damage on the second half.
There's a gank on top. Vi goes in. Starbucks dives out with his
Slice and
dice, and does not really even care about it. They don't try to go all in, even though Vi has the red, maybe slow him down. He just has too much health for it to be really much worth for Vi to stay up there much longer. And looks like they did a good job bottom lane.
And Renekton goes in really hard for first blood. He was, it looked like he was trying to push that level 6, but then Shyvana committed and he had the ignite, so he just took it.
Yep, and he didn't use his ult either, because he's going to use it now and try to get another kill. And it looks like Vi was under 10 health. So definitely playing it really close to the chest in that one. And Renekton's going to stay in and push the lane a bit longer, and right now he's going to be up close to 20 CS on the Shyvana. What kind of advantage does this give him again? It looks like they're doing the same thing exactly they did last time to go up against the Shyvana.
Right, and with the Renekton being as much of a lane bully as he is, getting that first blood is really going to be really huge for him, assuming he goes back to buy and capitalize on it. Right now he's got a level... Wow, Shyvana bowling flash to get back to the lane and trying to engage onto Renekton, who's able to just slice and dice out of it. I'm not sure what the thought process was on that one.
And he's apparently going to stay in because he gets the level advantage. Taking a lot of damage right now, but I guess he just got that slice and dice, and he knows she doesn't have flash, or she can't follow up to get that final kill. Might be scary when she gets level 6, which is just right now, and she's gonna maybe look to engage on him, but he still feels confident. Slice and dice is enough for like a couple seconds, and now we go back on bottom lane. Looks like there's going to be a bunch of damage going down. They're engaging on each other. It was the exhaust down from the Karma, and then the exhaust down from the Janna. And with the health advantage that Dignity and Worst Game have on the Karma and the Jinx, they're able to push them back out, or push them off of that team fight with another gank going down on middle. Syndra again just getting pushed out time and again.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw it. Oriana absolutely whipped the ultimate on that gank. It was not pretty. It would have been very different if she had it placed better.
Yeah, it would have been probably a kill very easily right there, but no, it did not catch that. So that's a bummer.
Starbucks ignited under the tower, and down he goes. The dive from Shyvana. Action everywhere on the map. Directed camera cannot seem to keep up.
Yeah.
So that was what I was talking about. I said if Renekton goes back to capitalize on his gold lead, he'd be doing really well. Since Shyvana only came back with a Vamp Scepter, but he didn't go back to make that happen. He actually stayed for probably a wave more than what he should be. Looks like there's a gank coming down in bottom, and it's just going to be to pull him off of the tower.
And it looks like they might be going for an early tower. They have so much damage on it, down to under 500 health, while the other tower is almost pristine. At this point, we're going to have Renekton getting back, as well as Sivir and Janna to their lane. Going to make them reset, or at least make Karma go back since she's low on mana. And right now we have the Vi running right past the pink and running right on through. Not even care. Right above that red lane, it looks like they're going to try to pink it. RAO is pinging to let them know that Vi is there. She's waving her wolves.
And that is and that right there is why we attack move through bushes, because I'll bet what happened was Vi was running through the bush on her way to Wraiths and looking at another lane to see where she'd be able to gank shortly.
Right. Definitely something that we all look out for, kids. Make sure we are always looking out for our pinks. And Renekton, on the top, while he does have his Code of the Meek, and with that life steal, and he may be stronger. I personally would go behind at this point. But you know, the gold might tell different, and it does. So you know, I'm looking foolish, but right now it may not be in his best interest to go in on there. But you know, if anything else, he's pushing Shyvana to go elsewhere and put down that ward before she goes back in the lane.
Well, he was definitely down a few CS and or a few creeps in experience, but I was kind of thinking he might try and let them die while she was out warding, but he kept on fighting and pushing it in. Looks like Vi is not going to give the first blue to Syndra, second blue to Syndra. Maybe feels a little bit behind. It's going to try and take some of that XP for themselves, or maybe Syndra just decided that they didn't need it this early in the game.
Yeah, it's possible. And coming in for a gank. Oh, what a going in for the Janna. It's going to force him to get a couple flashes. Both flashes burned from bot lane, and they're able to get out. Oh, and there goes the nice ult by Jinx.
Super Mega Death Rocket picking up the kill. And for those of you that don't know, that does extra damage to people who are low on health. Ultimate from Oriana coming in, and down goes Jinx. Looks like Karma might follow.
Not quite sure she's going to pick it up, but they definitely don't know that Vi's coming in, or if they would not be here. But they're able to all get out of there. Very low health from Karma, but she's going to try to stay. Well, no, she's going to go back. That would be silly if she did not. At the same time, we have exchanges going in on top. Renekton and Shyvana just standing up there, after each other back like two heavyweight boxers.
Oh, and it appears Starbucks has fallen back into a good routine as he's harassing the Shyvana down over and over again. So maybe he's gotten his rhythm back on how to fight against her.
Right. So right now you have Vi losing some gold and experience, but really just staying around. You're going to see if they can really catch out the bottom lane of Influx, and they're staying too long or staying too close to get out a catch from the Vi. But looks like nothing's going to be doing right now.
Looks like Influx is calling for assistance from their jungler. Vi is leaving, and Karma just goes to ward. See a pink ward coming down into that dragon bush. That is a very popular bush, pink ward, because it seems to get a lot of vision, a lot of time vision, and we're seeing it even in the pro leagues, such as the OGN and stuff like that. Those wards are staying up between 7 and 10 minutes sometimes.
Definitely, and here comes the Vi again to get some pressure. They know that I suppose they have an inclination that Red has not been able to ward yet, and I guess they hadn't seen Wukong, so they're going to be running back out. Great spell shield, by the way, for Sivir, and they're going to ult, see what they can do, and they have, oh man, quite the Sunbreak Death Ray, but interesting move back on to Jaina gets a kill, not focusing on the main damage dealers by the Jinx. She has to get out. She does not have any escapes except for that. Oh, what a flash ult. But Oriana to pick up that kill, or not pick up the kill, to get the assist over to Wukong.
Well, and just a little bit ago, we saw Jaina with a little bit of BM doing a slash laugh right at the enemy. Karma took a little bit of damage that maybe she didn't need to. Might have gone a little different if she wasn't down to 300 health at the beginning of that fight.
Right, and they already got him to push back all the way into the tower, and RAO takes down the first tower of the game in the middle of that fight while we're all talking about kills and everything down. So the goal right now is swinging over in the early stages over into Influx. They have the extra kills, but positionally it looks a little bit...
Shyvana and Renekton are fighting, and oh wow, the slice into the second bush where he had a good suspicion that Shyvana was hiding, followed by a Call to Meek to secure the kill. Both of them coming out very low on that fight. Ignite burned, I think, on both sides. Yep, Flash burned on both sides too. That was a powerhouse fight.
Definitely. Both of them throwing bows in that fight. And Renekton looked to come out the victor in that one.
Renekton is now up 24 CS. You see him going after what I can only assume is a Sunfire Cloak, as well as a little bit of magic resist there. And then got a fight going down in bot lane.
31 CS advantage from Jinx versus Sivir.
Fighting bot lane.
To shake a, and along with that, almost as if she heard her name being called on the stream, Jinx gets another kill by getting this death thing off on the Jaina.
Vi caught a little bit out of position there. Let's Wukong go on her, and we see a Sivir ult blown for that kill. They don't have vision on this Syndra, but they're going for it anyways, followed up with a wombo combo.
That's that wombo combo we were talking about. Gets a double kill over on the Sivir.
And I think we're going to see Influx go for Dragon off of this. Yeah, we're absolutely going to see that.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's three champs down there. They all have decent enough health. And then Influx is alive. Sivir, and the BF sword.
Shyvana's going to try and take the top turret in response, but Renekton's pushing really hard onto mid turret. So they're going to try and keep the turret lead on Ready Aim Oops' side, but they are down the dragon, so the gold trade is roughly equal.
Right. They would. I mean, they will. At this point, they're still down 4.5K, and obviously that middle lane is always important when you're looking for vision. And right now, I'm not quite sure if Shyvana is making the right decision by staying up there, but I'll let you get the tower. She might have to lose her life to take it, but
Burnout says otherwise.
She makes it away. Burnout is too strong, indeed.
So now we're seeing a push by Syndra and Karma, not exactly the world's most renowned tower pushers, onto the mid lane. A little bit of an answer from Wukong, and a Super Mega Death Rocket onto Wukong, which didn't do as much damage as I think Jinx expected it to due to the Jaina shield.
Right. Right now, it's really the jungler, just all those effective ganks by Wukong, allowing him to build up a serious build advantage. He's up 1,300 on his jungle counterpart at the moment. He's been doing a lot more damage once they get to team fights. He's already finished his Spirit of the Ancient Golem, which definitely does helps him build up that cooldown reduction, as well as tenacity. And it looks like the champs are going to be, both teams are going to be grouping around mid, with only the 80 carriers off to go pick up some farm on their own.
Well, and Wukong is one of those champions that he doesn't want anything except health and cooldown reduction, in large part due to his passive, which... Oops, another fight going on in mid. Looks like Karma getting caught out here.
flash burn. Oh my goodness. Once again, they're able to get that ult from Diana into the ult of the Wukong, into the ult of the Orianna. I'm not quite sure who is doing Vi's best interest to go jumping back in on that Starbucks-led team with Renekton, because he is quite a beast, especially when he's using.
And now they're going to try and descend on Jinx. She's going to get the Flame Chompers down though, so and they're just going to decide that the better choice is to take the mid turret, which is just going to explode under the massive damage pressure of 2 brutalizers on Influx.
Oh yeah, man, yeah, didn't even see that. They are, have a ton of damage, and they're all going to rotate. Looks like as a team, rotate over on top to go put some more pressure on the lane that already has a minion wave up there.
So as I was saying, Wukong's passive is called Stone Skin. It increases his armor and magic resistance by a scaling amount. I believe it ends up at 8 per enemy champion by level 14. I'm sure somebody will check in and correct me on that one. It's like a little bit of trade going back and forth. Shyvana wants to fight. She's pretty sure that everyone's ult is still down. Her team doesn't seem quite as dedicated to the cause, though.
Right. Yeah. It looks like there's a bit more health, maybe, left on the. I'm not quite sure if Jane wants to do that. He was going to get in about a second flat. She even caught by anything that Syndra and Jinx were going to be throwing her way. So makes a better call and tries to be out right behind her tower.
So as I was saying, Wukong has all of those free resistances that just make his health so much more valuable than many other champions. And there's also the talent in the defensive mastery tree that gives a very similar amount. I think it is 2 armor and 1 magic resist? No, it's 4 armor and 2 magic resist per nearby enemy champion.
Right.
And it looks like Wukong's going to engage again with the ultimate. No Orianna follow-up this time.
It is oh man, that's an unfortunate whip. Because that would make Sivir lose her life. Unfortunately, they got Vine knocked back into the tower that gets her killed. But a really great engage over on. I'm not quite sure if that's exactly what Shyvana wanted to do. Going in for a ham all-out dive, but Jinx went over to go push down the middle tower with Karma. Which is going to be a good call. They're going to get pressured on the top lane and the middle lane of G3 Influx.
And that fight actually went a little different than I anticipated. It ended up going 2 for 3 in favor of Ready Aim Oops. And I think a large part of that is due to the missed Orianna ultimate, followed by the Flame Chompers on the Renekton, which allowed him to just get DPS'd for free by Jinx.
Right, and getting 2 towers down middle that was huge right there. Jinx and Karma doing work. Jinx, that passive allows her to speed up and jump straight back into the fight after they take out that tower. And while there were 3 members of G3 Influx down, it allowed her to just push in as fast as she could to get both those towers. A really big swing, because at one point they were down 7k in gold. They creeped it back to a little bit. It's around 4.5k right now.
Well, and with Dragon coming up, I think that's going to be where we see the next big team fight. Jaina getting caught out as she goes to ward for that Dragon. Trying to get that advanced ward down.
Right now, they have great timing on those Dragons. And just like you said, that pink was in there, for at least 5-6 minutes. That was a long pink.
It was, and Vi is just now getting around to clearing it out. It's a really powerful bush. That one in the same bush by Baron. Looks like Influx is going to start up this Dragon here. And I don't know if Ready Aim Oops is going to answer it.
Well, they pick it up, and all that AoE going down. Orianna goes in and gets a huge ult on 2 members of the team. Unfortunately, their Renekton runs all the way down there, taking out a couple members of Ready Aim Oops, and comes back into the fight. Just everything out to get the kill. and get the ace.
And that's a 22-minute ace over the dragon fight, which is exactly where we said we'd see the next big team fight. Looks like Renekton and Oriana are going to run towards middle and see how much damage they can get down on the tower. Although, with Shyvana and Jinx both up in less than 10 seconds, I don't know if there's a whole lot they can do about it.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, yeah, it was a bad fight. Yeah, they lost a lot of gold. But really doesn't allow them to push that much harder, because with a staggered fight like that, there was really, enough time for any of the members to reset, to get back into the fight, so as to not.
Super Mega Death Rocket comes flying by Oriana, not even close enough to ruffle her skirt.
Right. But it does allow them to put a lot of pressure, and with that, oh man, got her caught. But Shyvana doing a great job, or Gianna doing a great job of doing that disengage with her tornado, and it's slow.
And now Jinx, who is notoriously non-mobile for an AD carry, has no flash, because she flashed in an attempt to get that zap onto Oriana, hoping that she'd be able to follow it up, but the double shield neutralized all the damage that hit her.
Right. So what looks like what we have now is we're going to have both Jinx and Karma doing the same they have been doing. Once again, it looks like Dignity really loves getting that static shiv on his ADC. Tristana, enhancing her wave clear to be close to godly, and then gets the same thing over on his Jinx, so as to push the lanes hard as well.
Well, what we're seeing now is RAO is not team fighting. They're letting that Jinx and Karma combo just wave clear using that static shift. They don't want to have team fights. They want to fight the minions. They want to fight the minions. They want to fight the towers. They don't want to fight people. Which is wise, considering that they are pretty substantially behind at this moment.
Right. Very true. So, at this moment, we are going to have
Oriana ultimate on Jinx. Jinx is evaporated.
Wow, yeah, you got seriously picked. Definitely not the way you want to have it done. Unfortunately, this also allows Influx to come in and do a ton of damage. Flash going down, but it's not going to let them pick out Karma. But once again,
Renekton tanking the tower for that entire fight. He has so much armor that he can just tank towers at 24 minutes. And this is what I said, is this is an early game team comp. They're going to want to group up early game, end laning phase, and just push in as 5. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing a great job of it.
Definitely. I mean, Sarks is just man-moneying everything right now. He's got 8 kills, 4 assists, winning in CS by 49 up against the Shyvana. Other things to look at right now, we had the early advantage going down in Jinx, and she's maintained that advantage. But yet, although she's maintained the advantage on the creep score, she is still down by almost 900 up against the Sivir, just because the team fights have gone so well for Sivir, getting all those assists and all those team fights.
And it's amazing to watch every time someone tries to escape a team fight when they think it's gone wrong. Starbucks always seems to have that stun right on point and just stops them cold in place. It's pretty rough for anyone that he's up against right now.
Right, pretty uncanny his ability to do that. Another token right now, even though they're down, even though they've got an inhibitor pushed in, RAO still has slight advantage. They still know people are, and probably not the best use of Super Mega Death Rocket. Trying to pick out a support.
And slightly even worse was the use of Flash by Jaina. She thought she was going to get away, even though she had an Ignite on her.
Right.
We're seeing Ready Aim Oops wants to fight, but Renekton doesn't seem to care. They're just going to go and fight this 5v4. Gets the Oriana and Wukong Wombo combo. Shyvana pushing really hard onto Oriana, but it's really not going to matter as Renekton solos the other 3 members of the team.
Right, at this point, he really is a unstoppable force. So, unless you have or he's an immovable object, perhaps, and you'll have to find an immovable force to really go after him. And unless you have that Tristana from last game doing that much, be able to do that much damage, I'm not quite sure you have they have the answer right now.
I mean, I guess it really depends on which angle you're coming at him. If you're going at him, then I think he's an unmovable object. If he's coming at you,
Right.
I think he's an unstoppable force.
I think he's both. Right. So you're going to have pick and choose which one you're going to have going up against him, because he is definitely both at this point. And of course, with the follow-up, Influx is going to be picking up the red for their Wukong, which is a great pickup for him. Allows him to do a lot of great work in chasing down people and engaging in on with people with his ult and his dive in with his Nimbus strike. And they're all going to back up and buy and leave the red to be tried upon.
A lot of pings coming down from red team. They seemed really panicked about going B in that bush. I don't think everyone agreed that that was the best idea.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. So at this point, it looks like they're going to be pinging the Dragon to look to pick it up. Dragon is now live, and Baron, of course, has been up the entire time. No one's really made a push for it, but, nor Influx. Influx hasn't really needed to, and our heroes haven't really had the opportunity.
Now, I think what we might see is Influx may not need the Baron, but they might want to bait a fight at it. Because, and we have an ancient coin. Here goes Starbucks engaging.
Oh no! So it lost all that damage. Probably a little bit pushing in, but it seems like it may not matter because
even with the prophetic mist overlap, it seems like Wukong and Renekton are just going to clean this up.
Yep, triple kill, double kill on Cinder. And they get that inhibit again, depending on how many minions they get, they might end it right.
Well, they don't have any minions right now. All of the minions are back. It looks like Starbucks is just going to tank both of these towers with some fancy shield combos, and they're going to take down at least one tower. Starbucks is going to have to pull out. Looks like Jane's going to take a little bit of damage here. They're going back in on this tower, doing a really good job training the tower aggro. Both towers down, and this might be game.
It's going to take a serious man mode kill, but it is not coming. And that is 2-0 going to Influx in this stream of the G3.